you. Let's get your reaction to those comments.
Well, I would say about the comments made by the Prime Minister that, one, he again shows that he is just a confounded liar, and there's no other way to put it, and reckless, irresponsible. I listened to the Prime Minister, Minister of Finance, and I had to shake my head, trust me. Now, let me begin by saying and restating what I said the last time. When you're dealing with the banking sector, you have to be very careful. I was very careful when I started my comments last time, because having served as Minister of Finance, I know that a wrong word can make a big difference, and therefore everybody has to be responsible. The bank itself put out a statement in which they said that the matter is before the court and they don't have anything to say. But here comes the Prime Minister now. Now, I would expect him to make a statement where he would say that, as he was suggesting, all is well. I mean, that's his job to say that there have been issues or whatever he chooses to say. The point is, he went on to say things which I am flabbergasted that a Prime Minister and Minister of Finance could go publicly and be talking about money lent to private companies. How much was lent? I mean, I did not even know how much had been lent. I don't think most people knew. But the Prime Minister is putting people's confidential information out on the street. That has to be wrong. It has to be wrong. About how much he lent, 14, he had to encourage. But why he did not tell us, as he told us back in 2015, you remember when we had a meeting and I pointed out about the Navigator and the super yacht and the Jolly Harbor and so on, and he said, and I think I'm quoting him, he said, yes, the bank loaned, the same bank, and he called the name. He said Global Bank loaned him money. And I'm saying that is something we have to go and check, because even though he's playing smart but not being clever by saying that it was loaned to a company. Now, we know the laws relating to the offshore banks and lending, but you don't look at where the bank or the company is domiciled. You look at the beneficial owner. In other words, who is the ultimate owner of that company and where do they live? Where do they reside? And if he's an Antiguan living in Antigua, the shell of a company registered in Tortola or wherever will not protect him under the laws. So that's something that we're going to flag for the future. But here it is now, he's cursing out this man. He's cursing the man, saying the man is greedy, the man is unreasonable, that the man is trying to bankrupt the bank. What utter nonsense. Every schoolboy, every schoolgirl knows, if you put your money in a bank, it is your privilege, your prerogative, and it is basically a right that you have to go and take the money when you're ready for it. The only limitations you might have, the bank may have a clause that may say that if you are going to withdraw more than a certain amount, you must give them 21 days notice, or 60 days, or 90 days, or whatever. But you cannot just say, you can't get it, or I will give you when I feel to get it. You have to tender, you have to be easy, you have to beg pardon, you have to say, come in soon. You can't go on your high horse when somebody asks for their money and cursing the person for their own money. That's what this country has come to. And he's trying to make out that the money was used for national development. Hello, when you put your money in a bank, whether it's for national development or whatever, when you call for your money, it's your right. So he's very, very wrong and out of order to be cursing somebody who goes to a bank because they want their money. So that was the biggest shocker for me, that a Prime Minister and Minister of Finance could go publicly and be putting people's business. And I'm talking about the hotel that he mentioned, and even said that the charge had in his, to his knowledge. And then you ask, how does he know all of that? I mean, I served as Minister of Finance. I was never so intimately involved. I may see a balance sheet. I'm entitled to know what the status of the bank is, but not to know people's personal accounts. That is wrong. It's out of order. And I'm saying the Prime Minister needs to watch himself, because he is the one who's creating a situation where people could lose confidence. He is the one. And I see that he's batting for his friend, His Excellency, Brian Stuart-Young, ambassador to the People's Republic of China, among other things. And he's saying that just give him time. He's saying he's not a crook. Nobody said he was a crook. Why is he saying that he's not a crook? Nobody said so. He's saying that the same Brian Stuart-Young was the one who gave the government, or lent the government, $30 million so the government could buy shares in West Indies Oil. Again, it's not everything that you know you're going to talk about. But I would just like to ask, how much did the government have to pay in terms of negotiation fees, in terms of the other fees and charges? Is it true that it cost something like $5 million? I don't know. But we need to understand that all that glitters is not gold. And so I just want to say, with due respect to Mr. Brian Stuart-Young, that it cannot look right that you are being sued as someone who holds the position of CEO of a bank. You're not only being sued as the bank, but you're being sued in your personal capacity. And I ask the FSRC, does it look right that such a person, where there's a court action pending, shouldn't this person be asked to step aside? You're not attributing any guilt, but how, as the Trinidadians say, how we gonna look? How we gonna look that you're being sued in your personal capacity, and you are still there as the CEO of the bank? Is this not likely to undermine confidence in the bank? I'm asking. But these are serious questions. And this bank is regulated by the FSRC, and I want to know whether or not it would not be prudent to have the CEO in these circumstances step aside. That's the decent thing to do. And nobody's going to say it again. Nobody's claiming guilt. But we're saying it doesn't look right. It doesn't look right. And it does not serve to give and strengthen confidence. On the contrary, it undermines confidence. But I won't say very much more, because this is a matter, once again, I want to say that I respect the fact that anything to do with the banking sector has to be dealt with in very sensitive, very cautious, and very responsible, in a very responsible manner. And I want to assure everyone that I have no intention of creating any problems within the financial sector, because nobody gains from such a situation. Nobody gains, but I have an obligation to point out certain irregularities and to draw attention to things which affect the nation of Antigua and Barbuda. And I just want to say that at this particular time, we call on the government to be responsible in the way they handle the situation, and to ensure that nothing further is done which will undermine confidence and which could lead to further difficulties.